Folks, welcome to our broadcast. Good to have each and every one of you on the live here with us this morning. Folks, we did tell you we'll be here soon. We'll be here shortly. Here we are. Happy to have all of you here with us, folks. It's pace and power. Do let us know if you're hearing us loud and clear wherever you're joining us from. What a day it was yesterday, good folks. What a day it was. Nomination day, folks, 2025. Wow. Just wow. Just wow. Just wow. Wow. They're telling us from 22, was it 22 parties? 24 parties, I think it was 22, that started on the briefing day when GCOM met with political parties to walk them through the process. 22 parties were there, came down to 7 yesterday. 7 parties in it to win it. 7 parties. Well, we know some of them aren't going to win it. We know that definitively. Look, if you've been around politics long enough, you know. The people, right? Will parties get a seat, 2 seats, We know where the major parties are. We know where the major parties are. You know, this has come down to now whether you're willing to waste the vote, whether you're willing to waste your vote. That's where it's at. You know, on something you know has no opportunity of winning, right? And you only going to take up space, or do we want to move this country in a radically different direction? And I would say everything south of the PPP North want to see this country go someplace else than where the PPP is taking it. You know, whether you want to spoil your vote, as Dr. Dr. Hines, said, whether you want to split the vote, that's something totally different, right? I don't think we should want to split the vote. That's just my feeling. I don't think we should want to split the vote. But guys, what a day yesterday was. Seeing all of you, let us know if you're hearing us loud and clear. It's how we want to be heard this morning. Good to have you on, Gail and Rastaman and Paulette and Yolanda and Mario and Mark and Audrey. Good to have you, Joyce and Humi. All you folks who are joining us from. That's what's going to come down to. When you want to waste your vote, I know you may like a candidate. Humi, thank you. Thank you. Loud and clear. Thank you. Look, I've learned long in politics. Sometimes, it's not about likes and all these things, It's not about that. Who is spirit tech and this and that. You want to waste your time or not? You want to waste your time or not? Roxana Campbell. I see some people saying, where is the win party? But you all know where I am. Proudly. You all know where I am. Where is the win party, or it's Forward Guyana movement? Your focus should be on the PPP. No. Listen to me. If you're not where I am, how are we the same? If we're the same, you'd be here. Right? This is not just about overthrowing the PPP. Somebody's got to lead this country. Somebody's got to lead this country. And I'll tell you in a couple what is coming down to. Folks is yes. Apologize. We apologize. We're running ahead. Let me see if we can change it from this side. We're running ahead. We're missing something. I can change it on the fly. It's that kind of thing. We're running ahead a little bit, We're running ahead a little bit. Good to have all of you on the live this morning. Bertrand and Marlin, Chevron. Marlin, they're on the live whole morning yesterday, Whole morning yesterday. Marlin on the live. Folks, I told you all, we've been prepping for this election period for a little while now as credible sources. We've been prepping, right? We've been putting the things in place that we could bring you all a broadcast uninterrupted. We were on close to 3 hours yesterday. You know what's the wear and tear on a phone? You got to get equipment that doesn't overheat to be out there in the sun with equipment that doesn't overheat, right? We wanted to put ourselves in a place where we ain't got to worry about GT&T and Digicel buffering and all of that. We have to put ourselves in a different place. The folks are singing song. Vanessa is singing song. Folks, are you getting sung and so on? Are you getting sung? Vanessa is singing song. Vanessa, if you're looking at one of them big back TV, my God, hit this out. Whap. Whap. If it's one of the big back TV. Vanessa is singing song, but I just want to make sure we're all I'm being heard loud and clear. Yeah. Folks say loud and clear. Chevron said we hear it. So Vanessa got to be the big back TV. You remember the big back TVs you got to hit it to catch to clear it up. Whap! Box the back of the yeah. So what it did was yesterday, 7 out of 22 parties have made it to the finish line. And let us start there, perhaps. Let us start there and on a happy note. let us start there. But I did say on a happy note. Happy note, folks. Happy note, happy note, happy note. Let's start let's start on a happy note, and then we get to everything in between. All right. So GCOM says that they're set for September 1. They reported yesterday smooth flow of things. That's what they said. Everything went smoothly yesterday. You know the people, hooligans and thugs, they would have to try something. Of course, let me tell you all outright and off the bat, we know that we submitted the winning list. Let me just say that right off the bat. We know we submitted the winning list yesterday. You see? So don't come wrong with funny. Please and thank you. Don't do it. And then can end well. We know we submitted that winning list. Even though you can imagine the PvP send people. They had their own street, a whole street to themselves. They send people in between us to kind of to elicit a kind of reaction out of us. But I'm so happy, right, that the folks didn't take them on. I am so happy the folks did not take them on. They sent people between us so that they can run out and say, oh, look at them. It's them you want to give your vote to? PPP knows how razor close these elections are. Y'all know that? Yeah? There's not time for test and see what might happen and where this might go. Folks, listen to me. If after 5 years of having billions of dollars at its disposal, right, and they were able to roll out good plans for the people of this country, right? They were able to roll out good proposals, policies. This election would not be a close election. If the incumbent PPP, if they were able to do that, these would not be close election. They would be reporting that their polls are showing them that this is going to be a blowout election. Landslide. You notice one time they spoke about landslide and then they abandoned that whole thing. That whole foolishness. Landslide. One time Jack Joe ran out with that, and then them boys said, look, don't let me fool the people no more. don't let me fool them anymore. So they sent their goons yesterday to disrupt. But I'm happy to report the APNU folks held the focus. Right? APNU coalition held the focus and didn't take the baiting from the PPP. The same old PPP. Now, if that's your party, I love to say more power to you. But I won't say this morning, I wish you all fail electorally. Right? That is what we're working for. Not only for you all to fail, but we have an option that is far superior. It's not just what we are against, but it's what we are for. Better policies, better programs that put Guyanese first. Now put Guyanese first. All you hearing? Please and thank you. All you hearing? So they send the people. Now, we were on High Street. The PPP were given Carifesta, whatever's the extension. That's Carifesta that runs along the Canadian Embassy, runs along the American Embassy. And then you have GBTI on the one side, you got the police force on the other side. They were given that street. They ended up on High Street. And then 3 of their people ended up in the APNU, folks. In the APNU section. And they weren't just passing through, They stopped. Right? But when they came and said, I said they can take off the shirt now. And they can say, look, we're doing foolishness all the time. We with y'all. But it's bait. They came to bait. There were 3 Afro-Guyanese and they had 1 Indo-Guyanese. It's send them. why is the PPP doing this? They had one East Indian, one Indo-Guyanese, 3 Afro-Guyanese. Why the PPP doing this? If they're confident in their proposals and their plans, but you see, they want to incite. If this is not incitement, I don't know what is. They were given their own street. Apnu people were not in their area. They were given their own street. And you see, if Apnu people bother with them, GCOM would not have been able to report that everything went smoothly and everything went well. GCOM would not have been able to report that. But our Apnu brothers and sisters held the focus. Held the focus. Our brothers and sisters held a focus. Laser focus. And that is what we need in these elections. We're not worried too much about who's doing what. We will keep talking to each and every Guyanese, making the argument that we have a far superior offering, proposals, plans, policies to take this country forward and keep putting the people first. We'll keep doing that. So we held the focus. Siobhan and Sudan and Kwesi and Philomena, right? We held the focus. The PPP folks, they were given an area to occupy. They were given an area to occupy. And then they suddenly, you're in the Apnu section. What are you doing there? What are you doing there? What are you doing there? Then when something happens, emotions are incensed and inflamed, right? And people have a reaction. But that's what they want. They say, you see, the PNC, the Apnu thugs and hooligans, that has become the PPP. Now look in this electoral cycle, Garda Center, that has become the PPP, the hooligans and the thugs. That has become them. So they want to cast that off now. They're the angels and they send their folks. We see you, Jagdio. We see you, Infantali. We see you, Nandalal. Ashley Singh. We see you. Y'all enjoy the next couple of days, man. Enjoy it. And while you're having your enjoyment, pack your bags. So GCOM says that they had a smooth day. Smooth day. They say Apnu was mature. Apnu didn't respond. Good to go. They're also promising, this is GCOM. GCOM is also promising we can have some timely results. Long before 2020. We have rarely, if ever, had an election where the results was declared the next morning. Right? But it's nice to hear them in this aspirational way. Right? We don't have the mechanism. We don't have the mechanism. We should. We have the money to do it. If we had real and true biometric voting, we'd have the capacity to do it. Soon as you cast your ballot is tallied, bang, bang, bang. And then the manual tally comes second as just a verification. Soon as you cast your ballot, bang. You know, dial store and you know what happened. You see? By the time poll close at 6, 6:15, you don't know seat allocation. You don't know who in and out. We got to move away from that. We got to move away from a hurry up swearing in, a secret swearing in. Right? But we're going to get back there. We're going to get back there because, as I said, the Apnu Coalition believes very strongly with our heart, soul, and sinews, with the backbone and we feelings, we have that winning list. We believe it. We believe it. You know, we believe it. And I'm certain those of you who are wavering, you're going to believe that too shortly. You know, so good morning to all of you out there, even the PvP folks who have joined us. Of course, they like to come and watch and so on. They get the information that is so needed in this country. You know, unbiased and unfiltered, they get information. So GCOM is promising as well. Not only was there a smooth day yesterday, thanks to APNU not responding to the price of the PPP, you know the PPP, what do you call it? Playbook by now. You're in this business long enough. You can see the move. You can see the play. And if you're sharp and astute, you're going to avoid it. Right? If you're sharp, astute, adept politically, you're going to avoid it. And we're happy that the folks kept the focus yesterday. And don't worry, these goals. They came to distract, but we had a fantastic day. Folks, we had a fantastic day. A fantastic day. I'm certain some of you who watched us internationally, you were very, very pleased. And I had an aunt from the South Carolina, from the Carolinas. She said she was very impressed. Very impressed. And lots of the folks had said, oh, Norton standing alone and this and that. Too many folks, let me put it in this other way. Too many of our people allow the people to get inside their head. Too many. Oh, they ain't got plans, they ain't got proposals. Really? Really? Nobody but them. Look up, people leaving in the thousands. 5 people left. 3 joined the PPP. Right? None got prime time billing in the PPP's campaign launch. None of them. It's so important to them with the endorsements and so on, but they're important to put on the main stage. We see you, PPP. We see you all. And now people are waking up to realize, PPP, you lie. PPP, you lie. A lot of folks are waking up to that realization. You lie. When they see the thousands that attended the launch, the campaign launch at Square Revolution, and then we just took up our first position in line since last Monday. Then everybody follow. Follow me, PPP. Follow me, follow me, follow me. Everybody follow. The PP bully AFC out in second spot. Bully them. Right? Bully them out of second spot. Then suddenly that became a thing. We had a little warm-up Sunday night, I think it was. Quite a few people came out to that warm-up right at Umanian, which is a line, which is a buzz. Just a vibe. Folks having a great time. You know how many PPP buses pass there? Throwing the tons and waving the flags and so on. It's all part of it. It's all part of campaign season. How many PPP buses? But what really fascinated me is that while Irfan Ali was talking, how many people left that rally? How people left the rally. We saw T-shirts thrown in trains and all kind of stuff. People leaving. They collected 10,000. The T-shirt and the box of cook-up. Eat out the cook-up, then throw the T-shirt in the drain. Eat out the curry, then throw the T-shirt in the drain. Folks, the wedding list was presented yesterday by leader of the APNU coalition, Aubrey Norton, and team, including the prime ministerial candidate, Rita Fadans, including the who's going to be one of our youngest, Vice President Ganesh Mahipal. The winning list was presented, and I was so delighted when I heard the leader says that there's a well-balanced list. Well-balanced list. That Anthony Vera's on this list. Businessman Anthony Vera's on this list. On this list. Businessman Rambaran, Jacob Rambaran is on this list. Businessman Terence Campbell on this list. Among a host of other businessmen, lawyers, academics, engineers, doctors, teachers, housewives, entrepreneurs on this list. Businessman Terence Campbell, attorney at law, Daniels and Todd on this list. Young people, all ethnicities, females, indigenous, youth on this list. Well balanced. Well balanced. Right? And when you saw the thousands, not to be distracted by the PPP, when we saw the sheer thousands of persons who were out there yesterday, to be counted in a meaningful way, right? What are you going to tell us? What they could tell us? What can they tell us? Can't tell you nothing. There's just some of it. Norton said we got a well-balanced list. Well-balanced list. That's what he said. I thought y'all said nobody didn't sign up at Norton. I thought that's what y'all said. Nobody didn't stand up with Norton. Why y'all stay like that? Norton by itself. This by itself look different. This by itself thing looks strange. Well-balanced list. Right? Well, hold on, Mark. Mark, I'm coming to the other Mark. Humi, Joy, Pamela, I'm coming to the other Mark just now. Mark, thanks for reminding me about your namesake, the other Mark. All marks aren't the same. Let me just say that. All marks aren't the same. Let me just say that. You all allow the PPP narrative to creep in. But we're sending it back. We're beating it back. We're beating it back. Naomi says some of them using AI to make the crowd look thick. You see? Using AI is a warfare now in income pixel. I saw one young man say on social media, the warfare is now in income pixel. Here on the income pixel here. They say Norton standing alone. Norton got no plans, no proposals. But it look different now, eh? It look different now. Look, y'all, Alana Chang, we allow some people to get edge. But we flexed a little bit yesterday. Right? We didn't truck nobody and bus nobody and bike nobody and people just listening to the proposals, listening to the plans and say, I there with y'all. I there with y'all. And that's what it's about. We ain't got to intimidate nobody. Right? Why the PPP trying to intimidate? Why the people trying to excite racial hostility and violence in this country? Because they know it helps to get out the vote for them. It helps to get out the vote. This is just a little bit about yesterday. Right? I show you a little thing. We just flexed a little bit yesterday because some of them smelling the self, Some people smelling the sweat. And Norton just makes sense, just flex a little bit yesterday. Right? Because some of them said to say, look how the crowd scanty, nobody with Norton. Folks, you better find yourself. The APNU coalition is a national movement. And I'll show you, I'll talk to you all frankly just now. Like I talked to you all the other morning. Frank. Because some people need a little jolt, APNU understand this business. And PPP has been in this business a long time now. They understand it. It's only that they think that they're crookish, they're scampish and corrupt. But they understand the business. Parties who have done this for 50 plus years understand it. Right? And I'll tell you this. I will tell you this. Some of you are going to vex and come up the live. AFC, they're going good. AFC, they're going good. Nigel Hughes, he's a fantastic lawyer. Where it concerns the law, applying the law, he's a fantastic lawyer par excellence. But is he politician? All right, moving on. In other news. As a politician, in other news, people who've been in this business 50, 60 years, they understand the thing. Right? And because he's rusted hard, they understand it. Nigel is a fantastic politician, hands down. He's a senior counsel par excellence. But see, as a politician, Lord. My. I'll leave it there. For now, I'll leave it there. But for the people who say, listen, they're done with red this, orange this, pink this, blue that. Norton just flexed liberty yesterday. You understand me? Just flex a little bit. I hear people talking about base and this and Linden and that. In Region 10, PPP got about 3,000 votes out of Region 10 in 2020. Somewhere there about. PPP, why when you see a crowd from Region 10, you think automatically is APNU suffering? Why think is APNU suffering? You see some folks come out of Region 10. I see PPP says 300 attend the motorcade. And you think APNU in trouble. PPP got people in Region 10. And you have a lot of people didn't vote in the last election. Why if somebody black you think is APNU? Let me say it better. Let me say it better. In a more palatable. Why you believe if somebody is Afro-Guyanese, they're APNU? Automatically. You had a lot of people who didn't vote in the last election. The point I made last week when I unplugged these fools is that even for the people who are in the middle, who didn't vote, even if you got all of them, you cannot win government. Even if you collect everybody who didn't vote in the last election, who might be represented in one of the other camps, you cannot win government. I'll tell you how you win government just now. I'll tell you. I've been saying it, but I'll tell you just now. How you do it. All right? I love this shot here. I love this shot. For the people who say nobody in there with Norton. Nobody in there with APNU. Oh, Father. Oh, foolish Galatians, who has bewitched you? Huh? Now some of you are waking up to the reality. Oh Lord, the PPP lie again. PPP, you lie. You lie. PPP, you lie. There you have it. And this is just a little smattering. It's a little smattering. For nomination day, thank you folks for coming out. Thank you for coming out, for showing up. Coming out. Right? Speak to your children. You don't have to coerce them. Speak to them about the issue. Speak to your neighbors, your friends, your workmates. And we got this. The APNU coalition has a clear path to victory. A clear path to victory, clear as day. clear as day to victory. But we got to hold a focus. We can have unforced errors, self-inflicted wounds. We got to avoid that, right? There is a path that leads to victory. However slim that margin will ultimately be, there is a path. And I was convinced yesterday, as I was the day before, and the day before that, and the week before that I made the right choice. I have been talking coalition politics for the last 5 years. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. Don't let anybody joke you all out, you know. That is what it looks like. It is what it looks like. Oh, them got nobody with them and this and that. Young people looking at the policies, the plans, the proposals, right? And rationalizing for themselves. Something here, something here, something here. And in their own deliberate judgment, saying, we want to be part of this. And that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. You know, I'd say it's the Lord's doing and it's marvelous in our eyes. My Lord, it's the Lord's doing. Good folks. Good folks. And it's marvelous in our eyes. Well balanced. Well balanced. Folks, if you make sense yesterday, share the life, the man. Share the life, the man. Right? Share the life. We got to hold a focus. There is a path. I'm emphasizing my TH to victory. We're on that path. We got to hold a focus. Nobody got pay here 5,000 a box of coke up on a t-shirt. Right? Nobody had to go to a car park and no seawall, no place and collect no money and so on. There is a path to victory. And we're on that path with a well-balanced list. A well-balanced list. As you can tell, I am super duper excited. You remember we had a burger you used to call the super duper? Yeah? You remember that? We had there was a hamburger out of Banks the IH used to call it super duper. I show my age now. I show my age. I'm fired up and I'm ready to go. There's a path. I ain't telling you margins. Right? I'm telling you there's a path to victory. There's a path. You know? There is a path. Fantastic lawyer. Politician. Saw headline. Lines for change says we're back. Well, I didn't know you'd gone. You're back. And one of the headlines says, AFC presents list of candidates, but still no prime ministerial candidate name. I saw a survey going around yesterday. Who do you want for prime ministerial candidate of the lines for change? Folks, if past nomination, you still doing surveys, you make up your mind yet. I say it again. Nigel Hughes is a fantastic lawyer, represented me in a couple cases. One case, I think in particular, was successful, as he always is. He's a great lawyer. Represented that case for me pro bono. He is an awesome lawyer. Politician. Politician. Lady came up to me yesterday. She says, make the eye. No, I can't do it on the man like that. It just comes and goes. The eye. The eye. Folks, politician. Right? I ain't gonna jump on them too much. Politician. I saw as well, Forward Movement Guyana yesterday say that our brother Nigel London, He's their prime ministerial candidate. Oh, AFC Mac for Guyana run upon them. Nigel London is their prime ministerial candidate. Darwin Best is the chairman of the operation, of the outfit, chairman. But they're only contesting in 7 regions. You can't win an election like that. They're about seats now, if they get a seat. They're not gonna, Aman's not gonna be president. You don't launch a campaign 2 months out from a general and regional election, launch a party and win an election. It don't happen that way. They're only contesting in 7 regions. So Aman's is not gonna be president of this country. And if they had a shot of it, if they had a path, they had to win the entire Region 4 outright. Region 4 is the largest voting bloc. Region 4. You had to win outright Region 4 and then pick up votes in other places. They don't have a path to victory. And lots of the other parties too. That is just what it is. It's just about seats now. Right? But they came out yesterday for Guyana, give it to them for that. Simona Broom's party, Prosperity for Assembly for Prosperity. I don't want to treat it as flippant at all. Assembly, y'all help me if y'all know the name of it. Right off the bat. Simona Broom's party came out yesterday as well, and from 22 the parties went down to 7. From 22 they went down to 7. Right? Went down to 7 parties yesterday. Kudos to them. They made it thus far. That is an easy feat. So kudos to them. Assembly. Is it Assembly for Prosperity? I want to get it right. Simona Broom's party. ALP. Assembly for Liberty and Prosperity. Is it that? Assembly for Liberty and Prosperity. Also made it in, or I should say made it out of the gates. You know, I think Jicom still going to say formally, you know, if everything is up and they're going to be on the ballot, you submit your stuff. But there is still a lot of checks and so on still happening. So all of that is there. But folks, the thing now start really and truly. The thing now start. Right? I don't know why the AFC is holding off on this prime ministerial candidate. Right? This is not going to move the needle. This is not going to. I think they're kind of spacing it out to give themselves some. Hopefully, when they announce who the prime ministerial candidate is, they'll get a little buzz and a little traction. It's not going to make no difference one way or the next. Just name the person. Let's move on. Right? Just name the person and let's move on. So we got all of those things happening, folks. We have all those things happening. Right? And with that too, the Mohammeds, of course, Win submitted a list yesterday, brought out the folks from wherever they came from, brought them out yesterday, had a tremendous showing. No, this is another part of it too. Remember me saying earlier, people make an assumption if they see somebody's Afro-Guyanese in the Win faction, somehow that is a loss to the APNU coalition. You know, we'd love to have everybody vote for us. But don't make that distinction that because somebody's Afro-Guyanese, they're PNC or they have to be APNU. The point I was making earlier, for instance, in Region 10, the PPP did pick up about 3,000 votes in the last election in Region 10. Right? Why isn't 2,000 of that showing for Mohammed's there in their numbers, whatever it is, whatever the number is? Why isn't the majority of it the PPP votes from Region 10? For instance, you understand the point I'm making? There's still a sizable swath of people who didn't vote in the last election, either of the 2 elections. There's a sizable swath of people who are now coming into the electorate as well. So you have all of those dynamics playing out. Why? Because somebody's dark skin, you see them with Team Win, you say, oh, APNU PNC base going. You know, PNC base going. But I'll say this, and the Win people have to take it in strides. right? Have to take it in strides. If you've been at this as long as the Mohammeds have been at this, and you don't have plans in place that you can talk about, whose fault is that? Naturally, people are going to talk about it. The APNU have their plans well laid out. The PPP got a couple new things they're aiming at. Largely it's a rehearsal of the things they've been doing. That was the campaign launch. But if on nomination day, you cannot say definitively, these are our 5 priorities. Come on now. Let's be real. Let us be real. If you want to see on nomination day, you don't know who the prime ministerial candidate is, and you can't speak to a single plan that you have. Come on now. And I know my friends who are with them, the influencers and so on, you would not give a free pass to anybody else who on nomination day, a month and a half out from an election, don't have one plan that they can speak to coherently or speak to, period. Come on now. Be fair. We ain't running for high school prefect or UGSS president. We want to run a whole country. And it's the plans and proposals that you have that must lead the country forward. Even if you don't have to tell them to your supporters, you have to have them to lead the country. When you wake up on September 1 and you're it, September 2, September 2nd, and you're it, where are you going? Where are you going? And what your plans and proposals say to the people of this country is where you're going. Where are you going? The other thing I want to raise. And I know the win people, they're going to get vexed. But it's the reality. I told you what the big parties have to their advantage. Not because they're just big, right? But big and not knowing where you're going is equally as detrimental. We say we big. A lot of people big, but we ain't got sense. We say we big and we got sense. A lot of people big. You have a big structure. If you don't know where you're going, or you're going in the wrong direction, it's equally as detrimental. What the big parties got is machinery. I heard some folks on TikTok trying to articulate this. Case in point, I want to show you something. This is a month and a half out from an election, a national election. And the campaign only goes, the win campaign, where Ashuddin Mohammed goes. Ashuddin Mohammed, I'm certain, is a fantastic guy. Charismatic, right? To have led a successful business, you got to know business. But we're quickly learning, bright in law, I mean bright in politics. Bright in business, I mean bright in politics. Some people want to marry the two. I say, once you're bright over here, you're bright over, sir. Don't make the mistake, right? But I'm talking to you about machinery. Note, the campaign only goes where Mohammed is present. You would never see a big rally happening in Linden, and one happening in Essequibo simultaneously. Or something happening in Region 3 and 5 and something happening in Linden. A political movement cannot be about one person. And in the next month and a half, political leaders will have to crisscross this country. One man alone can't do it. One man alone can't do it. When Norton and Borbis, Drayton Region 9, Ganesh and 5, and then you got teams of people every day knocking on doors, community after community. That is what I mean by machinery. It's not about bringing busloads one day. It's about every single day, street after street, village after village, tongue after tongue, going out and making that argument. And so the optics is nice. But you know what matters? Is the quiet work that is happening when the cameras are not trained and focused. And that is where a lot of you got caught up with even Norton. Oh, Norton this, Norton that, people leaving. I don't know what Norton was doing. The quiet work. You think the day Ronald Daniels came and said, I with Norton, does the date happen? Do you think the day Dexter Todd, Terence Campbell, Anthony Vera, Jacob Rambaran came, is the date happen? It is the quiet work that is happening when the flashlights aren't there, the floodlights and the cameras and so on. There is quiet work happening in communities. Let me tell you what the big parties got as an advantage. Because not only because they're big parties, but they got 50 years. They know everybody there, everything there. They know who oversees. They know who dead. They know who's proxy. They know where the wheelchair people there. It's driving me to another point. So you got to crisscross this country with a team of leaders. And those leaders have to be able to act independently of Norton, of Irfan, or whoever is the puppet they put up. They got to be able to act independently. That is the ground game. That is the machinery you got to put in place. And you don't launch a political party 2 months out from a general regional election and you're able to build that machinery. Paying a bus driver here and there to ferry people is one thing. But I'm telling you what will happen now over the next month and a half that has already been happening over the last 3 months. These parties are now getting in gear. You're now seeing some of the effects of it. You're now seeing the effects of it. So over the next month and a half, party leaders, candidates who've already been at work quietly will have to ramp up that work now. That's the playbook. And more than that, Election day is the biggest operation that has to happen. The biggest of the operation. You have to have people in all those polling stations. You got to have people on the ground bringing out, driving out the vote, getting out the vote. You have to have a massive machinery on the ground. Election day. One man can't do it alone. You can't in every polling station and the people can thief. They're going to attempt to thief. They're going to attempt to rig. You think they're playing fair? You think they play? Asha Kisoon said it. They don't intend to play fair. Asha said this is not church. PPP will play the game. PPP playing the game. Right? PPP playing the game. PPP playing the game. So, Win has to convert those numbers if they can make sense. They have to convert those numbers to campaign staff going throughout this country. Those numbers, for instance, yesterday and in Linden, going throughout this country, knocking on doors. You see, those people in the crowd, they're on the voters list. They got an ID. Huh? No, it's too late if you're on the voters list. Sorry to disappoint. PPP know who of the supporters on the list. Abdul knows who on the list for them because they've already done the groundwork and that period has ended. So if in the crowds that's showing up, 90% of them not on the voters list, what sense you making? I'm just giving you some examples. Kudos to the win team. You brought out the people yesterday. Your backers are your supporters. What's your policy now? That's the next conversation. Besides for your supporters, you will have a huge swath of this country who don't support you, but you gotta lead them too. Your policies or the absence of impacts them as well. Where we going? So we gotta shift now, right? You're big, you're a star. We understand that. You can get likes and shares. Fair enough. But with the proposals, there's where we leave that. There's where we leave that, folks, this morning. And then them boys. Then we tell you, 2 weeks ago, we told you, Darmlal on the list. You know? Darmlal on the list. We could tell you all so much more about the PPP, the list, but it can put a lot of people in trouble. And even though you have the information, who has access to the information in the PPP, it might put them in trouble. Right? Because it's just a small cabal. And we know they feed specific people information to see who is giving us the information. We know. So even though you have a lot of information you could be releasing, it's going to put your source in problem if you let everything become public. So we told you all 2 weeks ago, Nigel Darmlal on the list. You know the problem with this country, people just forget too quick. You all forgot all that we knew about Nigel Darmlal. But I shouldn't be worried about that at all. Because if you all could already forget and perhaps forgive what the PPP has done to Adriana Young, Jesus have mercy. Is Nigel Darmlal you're going to remember? Huh? We know what transpired. The young lady told us before they coerced her and pressured her into backing out. And they're bringing back Darmlal. They're bringing back Darmlal. And not only to bring back Darmlal, Mark Light, that betrayed teachers in this country, signed an agreement with the government behind the backs of the teachers. Mark Light on the list as well. But Mark Light makes an important point for us. Former president of the Guyana Teachers Union, Mark Light, it makes an important point for us. And I want to stress it. Right? Mark Light makes an important point for us, as well as Nigel Darmlal. You all remember there was a time when the PPP, in a few weeks of the press conferences, Jagdio always got a revelation what happened in the APNU AFC government. Huh? Like I told y'all, people who come out and support them, they didn't just decide one day. Right? The same day they get announced, it's not the same day they say, I with y'all. You get a good sense now of where lots of the leaks coming from. Imagine if you're in negotiation with a government, right? And the man leading the negotiation, he in cahoots with them. All your strategy, your planning, and so on, he carried back to them. Right? How are you going to be successful in those negotiations? How? You're going to be successful in those negotiations. How? So Mark Light on the list. Right. Gita, James, whoever else. You understand where the leaks came from? You understand where the leaks came from? Look who went over, and you can know who the leaking. Leaky. You can know who the leaking. You remember that? You don't know who the wiki leaking. Why? These ilks are always attracted to the PPP. Why is that? Mark Light betrayed those teachers. They're still feeling the stab in the back of Mark Light. Here on the list. Teachers, who stood with y'all? Huh? Who pulled for y'all through thick and thin? Stab those teachers in the back. Huh? Stab them in the back. But we always had an inclination. Remember? Always had an inclination. Yes, Dr. Light. The scripture said it. Many will say, Lord, Lord. Many will say, Lord, Lord. Dharmlal, that young lady told us. We heard the allegations, serious allegations. She told us what the house was like, would look like the room. Even when they took her back there, she could have said the painting here fresh. The paint over, rearranged furniture. You think, you understand the beast that is the PPP? And some of y'all think y'all can just show up and y'all gonna win this election just easy? Give me a break. Y'all think you can just waltz in and these people can hand over? Just and say, all right, look here from best friend. You ever wonder what would have happened if they didn't fall out? Irfan and Azruddin, you ever wonder where would we have been if it didn't fall out? Right? The people got to take frontal blame. Good or bad, PPP created this. Maybe the Americans too. You ever wonder what would have happened if the Americans didn't level the sanctions? You ever wonder? All right. All right. All right. That's all I'll say there. Mark Light, Nigel Dharmlal. They on them boys list. Finally, folks, before I run off and leave y'all, I'm happy that the observers are here. I saw some from the Carter Center come in. I saw some from the Carter Center come in. Others, the OAS now signaling that they're going to be here for the September 1 poll. I'm happy the Carter Center here early. So they will have a good sense of the shenanigans of the PPP. Right? I want you all to know they're working overtime to rig this election. Overtime in the background. You see? They got a lot of Mark Lights. I'm not talking about Mark Lights, Mark Light as an ethnicity. I want to be very careful here. I'm talking about the likes of them that on the forefront, they're neutral. I'm talking about Mark Light, the GTU president. Oh, I'm neutral. Teachers, I'm with you all. Teachers. GCOM staff, I'm with you all, GCOM staff. But behind the scenes, one and the same. One and the same. Private sector commission, I'm with you all. I'm one of you all, private sector commission. GCCI, Chamber of Commerce, I'm with you all. But behind the scenes, Right? You think Mark Light called PPP yesterday? You think they called him yesterday? He called him yesterday. You think they're talking yesterday? Huh? You don't know the depths of their depravity. Right? What I love, I learned on this, is that I support a candidate who in there nobody WhatsApp messages saying clear this for $10,000 or $5. Who ain't got a sanction? Who ain't got a fraud charge? Been in the business for 50 odd years, putting in the work. Believes in young people. He has a young, bright, indigenous woman as his prime ministerial candidate. Right? He's one of the persons, because you have to think 3 vice presidents. One of the vice presidents is going to be a young East Indian man who I know very well, Ganesh Maipal. He got a lot of gray hair because he's got a lot of worry, but he's young. 35 years young. Drita, I believe, is 33. He believe in young people, a cadre of young people. He ain't got a fault to his name, an infraction. He is a dual citizen. He ain't got a fraud charge to name, a sanction to name, and has a plan to move this country forward. I ain't vexed with nobody there. I commend each and every political party. I commend the people who are backing them. Let that be clear. I ain't vexed with none of them. I'm simply stating here what my choice is and why it is my choice. As you have a right to state what your choice is and why it is your choice. I respect that as well. Let us end on that note this morning, folks. Let us end on that note. If you're on with us on Facebook and you don't share the live, I'm watching you all sideways. I'm watching you all sideways. Best wishes to all the teams. Best wishes to all of the teams. Right? Let's do this. Let's do it clean. Let's do it fair. Let's do it transparent. That's how we prepare to do it. That's how we have been doing it and how we will continue to do it. I know it's not the same for everybody, but we wish you all the best nonetheless. That's our time this morning. That's our program. We're going to leave it there. Stay safe, folks. Stay safe. That's my time. That's our program. Yesterday, nice time. Nice time yesterday. We're going to leave you with those images, folks. Nice time yesterday. Have a fantastic rest of the day and stay safe. Wherever you're joining us from, have a fantastic day. Thanks for coming out yesterday on behalf of the APNU team. Thanks for coming out, guys. Stay safe.